Hey guys, it's Sam with The Blind Life. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm in the kitchen and I'm talking about a new, very unique kitchen tool. It's called Tot Chop, and it's a new, interesting take on a way to cut up food. For the first time, I'm not entirely sure who this product is ideally suited for. So I figured I would tell you guys all about it and let you decide. So we'll be right back and we'll talk about the Tot Chop. Before we get started, a huge thank you to the inventor of the Tot Chop for sending this to me and allowing me to make this video for you guys. And here is the Tot Chop. What it is basically a new way to chop up food. And it does that by using this uniquely designed blade, one-handed chopping blade, and a specialized cutting board. The product was created for several different reasons. The inventor of the Tot Chop wanted to give parents a way to chop up food one-handed. If you think about it, a lot of parents are needing to chop up fruits and veggies for their small children. They're sitting there holding their child in one arm. Well, they needed a way to chop up food with just one hand. However, after creating the product, the developers quickly realized that this could be utilized by other communities, and especially different communities within the disabled community. So they reached out to me and wanted to get my opinion on how well I thought this would work for the blind and visually impaired, especially those that are maybe a little hesitant to using a traditional knife and cutting board. So let me show you how it works, and as I said, I'll let you guys decide if this is going to be a good product for you. The Tot Chop comes with a couple of things here. You have the one-handed chopping blade. You can also get a kid-friendly version of the one-handed chopping blade. We'll talk about what makes it kid-friendly here in a second. Then you get this basin or bowl style plastic cutting board or cutting surface. And you get this silicone mat that goes inside the cutting basin. Along with that, we get an information sheet with details about the product. First, let's take a look at the two blades here. The blades come with protective covers or sheaths. The regular blade has this rubber protective cover, and the kid-friendly blade has this kind of a canvas cover. The blade itself has a handle that's kind of a palm style handle, and the blade, which is crescent shaped, very much reminds me of an axe blade. If you can imagine an axe handle coming off of the palm handle, this blade would very much look like an axe blade. It's sharp, but it's not so sharp that it's going to cut you. I would guess this is probably similar to a meat cleaver, where it's not like sharp like a chef knife, but with enough downward force, you could do some damage. The kid-friendly blade is much, much more dull. It also has a large cutout section here, so it's more lightweight. It's not as heavy, but very, very dull. No chance, well, I should say very, very little chance of cutting yourself with the kid-friendly blade. Now, the way this works is you're going to use your unique cutting basin here or cutting board. You can do it with the silicone mat or without. I believe the reason for including a silicone mat is if anybody is concerned about microplastics, they can put the mat down and that is going to protect from that. I think the mat also does a good job of holding the food in place, and we're going to talk about why that's important here in a second. But it's very simple. You put your food inside the basin here, and it's a very shallow basin. The width of the cutting surface is maybe about 8 inches wide, and I think the recess, the depth of the recess is maybe only an inch. But you're going to put your food into the basin here, the bowl, and you chop it by doing a rocking motion. So that's the whole key to this system, is a rocking motion with the blade. That's why you can do this one-handed. because you're just rocking back and forth inside that basin. And that's why I was saying that I think the silicone mat is going to do a better job of holding that food in, because you can imagine as you're rocking here, food is going to tend to spread out and could potentially fall out the sides of the basin. So that mat does a good job of kind of holding it in place. Now you can do the rock, or you could do a literal chop. That would work too. It just depends on what kind of food you have and what end result you're going for. The child safety blade is exactly the same. You just rock back and forth. And like I said, with or without the silicone mat, it doesn't matter. It's the same motion for each. And this is how you use the Tot Chop. The cutting board or the cutting basin, I'm not sure what you would call this, has a little tray area off to one side. So as you're chopping and you get the food to the right size or the right dice, you can slide it off into that little tray. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And I can see how this would clearly be very helpful for parents of little ones. You've got some larger chunks of food that you want to chop up into smaller bite-sized pieces. This is going to be an easy way to do that, either one-handed or with low vision, especially if you're a little bit hesitant about using a full-size chef knife. One thing I will point out is the range of food that you can successfully chop with the Tot Chop is kind of limited. The blade itself, like I said before, is not very sharp. It's not fully sharp, so it's definitely going to struggle with some harder items like carrots. It will also be difficult to chop up larger items like a sweet potato, for example. However, with that being said, if you got the sweet potato pieces small enough, then this would chop through them pretty easily, but it just wouldn't be able to handle large pieces. Then on the other end of the spectrum, super soft items like tomato, for example, because the blade is not as sharp as a standard kitchen knife, it's probably going to crush those items more than slice those items. Now, if you were making salsa, no problem. Who cares? It's going to do a great job. But if you're wanting a nice dice, a nice even dice, you might not be as successful with the Tot Chop. But softer items, peaches, pears, bananas, even crunchy items like Cheerios or something like that. I'm thinking of a lot of foods that toddlers are going to be eating. This is probably going to do a great job chopping up those things. Okay guys, so that was a quick look at Tot Chop. If you're interested, I will leave links to the website in the video description down below where you can learn more about the Tot Chop. If you'd like to try this out in person, I just learned that Tot Chop will be at the ATIA conference in Orlando, Florida in January. So if you're attending that conference, definitely stop by the booth and check it out. And definitely stop by my booth because I will be there as well. In the meantime though, if you have any questions, let me know down below. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed to The Blind Life. Set your notifications to all so you'll be alerted every time I put out a new video. Don't forget to check out my website, theblindlife.net, to learn more about me and what I do and get connected with all my other social media, including the podcast, The Blind Life Podcast, available on all the major podcast platforms. But that is it for this one, guys. Thank you as always. Sam with The Blind Life. I'll see you next time.